SDP VIP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Hi, everyone. It's almost Halloween. It's smooth.
Oh, we have a skeleton of a spider who I don't think they have bones,
You know what? I don't think spiders have bones.
Yeah.
but it's got eyes.
Insects have exoskeletons, so they're skeletons on the outside.
Yeah. I have a really tough question for you guys.
What is it?
First of all, Adam, you got to mention shoeless Joes, and then I'm gonna
Yes.
ask my question.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Hey,
Do you want me to ask my question then?
ask your question.
Okay.
We can work shoeless Joes.
Which weekend was Halloweekend? Last weekend or this coming weekend?
Well, okay. I'll tell you how I'm treating it, which is it's this coming weekend. Because
okay.
you have the costume already made. Now, I know that might just be for parents, because for Maddie, who's the one of us that actually goes out and does cool shit, Maddie was dressed up last weekend.
So I know people who've hosted a Halloween party last Saturday, and then there's one on Friday.
Yeah.
Because they both think Halloweekend is different weekend.
Well, and I think because it's on a Thursday, that tips the scale into the this coming weekend.
But the argument for the people who hosted it last weekend is that you can't host a Halloween party after Halloween.
No, last weekend was Halloweekend. This is Poppykend, where you have to get a poppy and put that on your outfit.
That's right. We're going to
And
poppy
not,
parties.
Like,
So even
scary
though
horns or something.
even though it's a day after the day,
yeah.
you think last weekend was Halloweekend.
Listen, I'm a child of divorce, so
damn.
it's when you celebrate.
All right,
it.
can't wait to see where this is going.
Christmas is when you celebrate it, right?
No.
I would see one parent on Christmas Day. I'd see the other parent the next week, and that's I celebrated 2 Christmases. That's how it worked for me. So I'm not a traditionalist on dates. I'm like, you know what? Whenever we can get together and celebrate this, that's what it's going to be.
You know what, Adam? That's a thought process that could only come from someone who's a child of divorce.
Exactly. You see,
No one-
People get so hung up on December the 25th, and don't get me wrong, it's the best day of the year. But it is when you celebrate it.
I was like, you know what? I'm busy right now. Let's have Christmas in April.
No,
Let's
not that.
just
No, you gotta
delay
have
it.
it within the week. You gotta have it within the week,
Everly,
right?
you'll open it. I don't know, February.
Hey, listen, I have a divorce and I have a divorce situation. I have to play by those rules, even as a parent.
Jesse, who's winning Thursday? Seattle. Steve, who's winning Thursday? The Leafs. Adam, who's winning Thursday? I'm a child of divorce. Oh my God.
That's how it always is. But I'm just saying.
I got it.
Adam's the type where his tree just might never go up because he's like, I'll do it next week. And then all of a sudden it's New Year's.
He doesn't like Halloween, doesn't like putting up his tree, I think, are you a bit of a fuddy-duddy?
Maybe I am. Maybe
You're
I
a
am.
stick in the mud?
Now, next Tuesday, November 12th, that will not be a Halloween party. I'm just throwing that out there.
It won't.
However, if you come dressed up, we'll still mad props and respects. Shoeless Joe's, 249 Queens Quay, Toronto. It looks like Queens Quay, but it's not. It's Queens Quay. And it's going to be 6 p.m. We're going to do a live show. 7 p.m. game time. It's Leafs versus the Senators. Maybe this time the Leafs will actually play the Senators, hard.
Doubt it.
Doubt it. Yeah. Well,
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if it's that the Leafs don't play them hard. It's that the Senators treat it like the damn Super Bowl.
right. Yeah.
Because they should.
The
Senators do it right.
Oh, no. Is there nachos up
Steve,
there?
you want to trigger a soy boy? A child of divorce soy boy?
Sure.
I just threw up nachos on the screen.
Whoa.
Adam hates nachos.
Here's another thing, Adam. Here's another universally loved thing that Adam doesn't like.
If you go to the link in the description where you can get tickets to our night at Shoeless Joe's, and then you follow there to go buy the tickets, on the page with us, they have a picture of nachos. Adam hates it.
I think they did that on purpose.
They must.
I know that the head chef for Shoeless Joe's is a listener of us. And he's the reason that this all kicked off, and we're very lucky to have him as a listener. And he probably knows that that nachos are not my favorite. And he was we did talk about it, and he's like, "Listen, we got to change that." And he said, and he had me try their nachos, and their nachos are very good.
He's the best.
He's actually
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I love it because he is passionate about food and wants to put on a show and impress you. So every time we see him, it's like, get a load of this shit. And he just puts the most delicious
Captain
food.
Crunch with chicken wings, and you're like, oh my God, how is this?
And it was friggin' great.
Crazy.
The passion per 60 is through the roof.
Yeah.
The passion coursing through his veins.
By the way, it's a waterfront Shoeless Joe's, so you get the waterfront vibe. And the thing about this particular location is it is key to your game day experience if you're going to the Leafs or even the Marlies. You can
Or the Scepters.
Or the Scepters.
Or the Raptors.
Or the Raptors.
Or TFC.
Or the Argos.
There's a
Or
lot
the
of teams.
Argos.
There are so many teams.
Yeah.
Or I'm done.
You can walk to you can go there before the game.
Raptors 905.
Walk over. No, that's too far for this location anyway. And then here's the other thing. Afterwards, when traffic sucks, why are you trying to go home? Stay downtown another hour, go to Shoeless Joe's on Queens Quay, and then leave when there's no traffic.
Yes,
Exactly.
Queens Quay.
You could leave at 10 o'clock or you could leave at 11 o'clock and you'll still get home essentially at the same time.
Yes. Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
anyway, check it out. We'll be there November 12th, a non-Halloween party. I'm sorry to say.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now,
Oh, wait. Sorry, I couldn't tell if you were expressing discontent or if you were a spooky ghost.
speaking of, Steve is wearing orange today, but not for Halloween. It's for the Eric Lindros Hockey Classic with Easter Seals. And joining us now will be Eric Lindros. It's a yearly tradition at this point, the Eric Lindros Easter Seals Hockey Classic, and obviously Eric joining us on the show, which we love having you on, Eric, because honestly, I remember a couple of years ago, the Flyers were in turmoil, and Eric came on and just gave a blistering take.
Yeah.
A blistering take on the Philadelphia Flyers. Things have improved since then. And we're going to talk about the Flyers, we'll talk about the Leafs, talk about the Rangers and that sort of thing. But Eric and Steve were talking right before we got on the air here about their books. And Eric, you said that you wanted to conduct the interview because you wanted to know how Steve's book tour is going.
Well, yeah. I mean, Steve put out Hockey Rants and Raves a little while ago, and I was. It's been years since I ever did something along that way, and I wanted to know how it went on the tour, on the book tour. There's always a lot of crazy individuals that seem to pop out of the woodwork and meet you along the way. So I'd like to ask you, how is the tour?
It's going well so far. We got London, North London on Sunday. But
okay.
the book's doing pretty well. It's a national bestseller. Thanks for asking. But the number one criticism I keep getting is there's not enough Eric Lindros content in there.
I disagree. I don't know about that. I think you're full of it. I think I think HarperCollins would have taken that. I think they did a good job with their balance for sure.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Next time we'll try to get you in there a little bit more.
Does Eric make the book in any of the arguments?
He must.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I mentioned him at least a few times.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Eric, we did a partnership with the Oshawa Generals this weekend, and we did a Jenny's game with our listeners, and then did a show afterwards at one of the events. And obviously, you have your number retired there. And I wanted to ask you specifically. I know that you loved being a Jen, but when the Pete's came to town, because we saw a Jenny's Pete's game, what was that like for you?
That's intense. I mean, they're 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
Right down, basically down 115 and then across, right?
Yeah.
Every time you're going up 115 or coming down 115 if you're a Pete. I mean, it's intense. So they're a lot of fun. The Jennies are solid this year. I mean, they've got a lot of returning guys. I think they might have 17 returning guys, 18 returning guys, and there's still some at camps. They're going to be. I mean, you talk about a sports ticket around town. That's a wonderful ticket to have. Roger Hunt, year after year, has done a great job, and they got an owner. I mean, Rocco, he's not afraid to spend money when it needs to be spent to make sure that his players have the best. So I mean, Oshawa is a wonderful place.
Yeah, it
was spot to play.
It was hilarious because I think we had 90% Oshawa fans at the event, and then there was like 2 hardcore Pete's fans who got mercilessly booed all night. So,
and they loved it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They've got their group too. They've got good backers too. Peterborough's been a great organization for years, right? Mm-hmm. If you look back, there's a few organizations that really stick out in terms of producing players, winning. And people walking away and saying, yeah, I'm proud to be a Pete, or I'm proud to be a general. I mean, those there's a few organizations that really have that asterisk beside them, and Oshawa and Peterborough are certainly two of them.
Mm-hmm. And the building was packed. Like you said, the crowd in Oshawa is just awesome. They were into the entire game. They were cheering the whole time on a Sunday afternoon. It was awesome to see just a full stadium there in Oshawa.
Yeah. Very, and there was like 14 goals scored too, which was
so which
we love that. We love a junior hockey game. Love a shootout. So Eric, listen, I let's talk a little bit about the Easter Seals tournament this year, and then we're going to get into hockey because obviously you spearhead this. Steve, you're a big part of this every year. We got big corporate sponsors that you bring on every year and big corporate teams and that sort of thing. But it's all in service of Easter Seals. And I think for people that don't know, obviously, Steve, your connection within our community is pretty well known why you're a part of it. Eric, why did you get involved with Easter Seals?
I looked around at different charities when I was done playing and wanted to align with one that I had similar ideas and similar structure about. I mean, there's when we run our tournament, we're getting 80 cents on the dollar back to Easter Seals, which I think is unheard of. We've worked hard at this. It's extremely high. I mean, that's you can attest to this, Steve. There's a lot of we work very hard. We don't cut corners on what we want to do, but the people that attend have a great time. But we are very, very cognizant of where we spend our money, and the result of that is that Easter Seals gets a pile at the end of the day. So, we don't skimp. We have good big names that are coming in. Wendell in again. Chelios, he's coming in for Ronek's going in for the Hall of Fame. John LeClaire again. I mean, we're packed with solid guys. Cody Hodgson, who I'm skating with on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. I just want to throw that out there. He's my centerman. He tried to come back last year, did very well. Unfortunately, his body couldn't take it. So he'll be attending. Versteeg. I'm missing. I don't have my sheet.
Corson's there. Andre Waugh, Bernie Nichols, Chris Versteeg, Troy Crowder. Anthony Stewart, Chelios, Wendell Clark, you already mentioned. So pretty great list.
Packed, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good list. Yeah, Anthony's a lot of fun to be around as well. Like, there's some real character guys in there that it's a good time. So yeah. You have a draft on Thursday night. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I just realized something that made me really depressed. I think this is the first time a celebrity at this tournament is younger than I am. In Cody. I'm pretty sure I'm older than Cody by at least a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's okay. It's been happening to me since day one. We're all good there. And the Rachel Raiders are doing fine in their fundraising efforts. Steve has always been our year after year has done an amazing job fundraising. And Steve, why don't you talk about why you do it and your connection and the amount of fun, what you like about the tournament itself?
Yeah, this is an awesome opportunity for me to give back to a charity that I got to benefit from. My family's an Easter Seals family. I got to go to Easter Seals camps with my parents and my sister twice. Pretty sure memories that last a lifetime. We had lots of fun there. One of the things I always tell Adam and Jesse, stuff sticks with you from childhood, and to this day I still hate the beach because you can't bring a wheelchair to the beach. It's a huge pain in the ass. And one of the only positive memories I can ever have, on a waterfront with my sister, was at one of these camps. Mm-hmm. Because it's a fun experience, but it's in an accessible environment. And that's what this tournament helps pay for. If I'm not mistaken, it's something like $250 or $300 per day per family member, and that's what one of the things that this tournament helps cover the cost of equipment. Wheelchairs are unbelievably expensive. AFOs, which are like braces, all sorts of things, and it's all very customized equipment. And this tournament is kind of why I got into playing hockey, honestly. It is, because Ken Reed, you know his ability to put you on the spot. He's like, you want to play in this tournament? And I'm like, well, yeah, I love the charity, but I've never played before. And he just goes, so? And I was like, all right, well, that's a pretty well articulated point. So I put on skates, finally learned how to stop, and I'm good enough to be bad at it, which is better than I was before.
No, it's great. Easter Seals helps out with everything. I mean, getting in and out of your house, transforming your vans so that they're accessible for wheelchairs to get in and out of. You think of bathrooms and getting. It's all about accessibility. Things that we take for granted, things that are easy for us, are not easy for someone that is an Easter Seals kid, and that's what we're there for. That's our job, and we take great pride in helping out and getting as much money to Easter Seals as possible. And I think we're getting up. I think we've surpassed 5 million. I think we're getting closer to 6. The Coughlin Foundation has jumped on board and really helped us out and given us a huge boost in the last couple of years. So I think that number over the next little bit is up and over 6. So that's we're doing well. We're doing well for a little tournament that started at $85,000 our first year. We've certainly grown, and we're doing great guns here. But it's not just my tournament. I mean, Dangle has got, he's invested in it. There's a lot of people that are invested in it. TD Bank has been there every step of the way. Burgundy helps out. The list goes on and on with how many people continue to come and continue to support year after year. And then we've got some new teams that came in, like Toronto Prep this year. That's great. Molson has jumped on board and done a great job helping out. So we're growing, we're doing it right, and we're having some fun. And whether you play hockey at a super high level or not, there's a space for everybody. We get the good teams go against the good teams, and the not so good teams go against each other. But the bottom line is we're out there for fun, and our job is to raise as much money as possible. And we finish off this year with a luncheon, and then we're bringing in Ron McLean, and we'll have a nice chat with Ron. And it's a wonderful 24 hours, and it makes a huge difference in so many people's lives.
It is a lot of fun. And I got to tell you, Eric, last year, I take a 20-second shift, I'm out of air, right? Like I'm just sucking wind. And so I made the mistake of dumping the puck, and John LeClaire, who we drafted, gave me so much shit from the bench. He basically tore my head off in the funniest way possible.
There's no dumping it.
There's no dumping it.
Carry it in.
Was John like that on the bench in Philadelphia, or was it just our bench?
I think it was this year, but John is very dry and funny. John is a wonderful guy. He drives every year. He hops in his car. He called me yesterday and we put together our plan. But he'll drive up from Pennsylvania all the way up here, do the tournament. He'll hang out in Toronto for a little bit. We try and tie it in with the Hall of Fame game on Sundays when we're both playing. But he is fantastic. He never charges a dime. He comes up out of the goodness of his heart, and he's just one of those guys that have bought in, and he's just part of the tournament. Every year that you're going to get John, and he is so much fun and a great player, and an even better person.
Yeah, he was a riot last year. We had a blast with him.
Oh, he's funny.
Yeah, man. There's stuff that he said we can't repeat on the show. But I do want to say, listen. We all three of the what is it, Steve?
I was just thinking about last year how I kept going out with him and he kept trying to get me a goal, and he kept trying to drop a play like, all right, I'm gonna go in front of you and I'll drop it to you, and then you do this. Oh, okay, so that didn't work. Okay, so I'll go on the left and you go on the right and you try to tap it in. And of course that didn't work. And finally by the end of the game, he's like, Dangle, just go to the front of the net and I'll try to hit it off you. I think I got an empty net.
Sarcasm. No, sarcasm is great. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So Eric, listen, there are some teams of yours that we got to ask you about because they're in the news. They're in the news. And I think I'm going to leave the Leafs for last because we have a specific question for that. But when you were on a few years ago, the Philadelphia Flyers were in turmoil. I think everybody knew it. Yeah. Flyers fans were in an uproar. And there's been a lot of changes to the management. Obviously, new general manager, new coach, whole new sort of outlook. What has changed from a couple of years ago in your eyes to where they're going now? Do you feel like they're going in the right direction? Is it going fast enough? I know Flyers fans are impatient. What are your thoughts?
Well, every sport fan is impatient, right?
Yeah, of course.
I think that I look at the rookie that they brought in, the young kid,
Michkov.
Yes, that's going to be a big part of things down the road. He looks, he's not tall, he's not huge, but he's thick, right? Look at his neck. He's like he's a player. He's not afraid to go around the net. He's not afraid to get in front. He's not afraid to go to the areas that they get spicy at times. He doesn't back away from that. So that's a huge thing. I think overall they've done a lot of addition by subtraction. It takes a while to undo some of the things that were that you inherit. There's certain situations. Everyone's got their own opinion on players, and when you inherit certain contracts and you have a different style than the previous people, things don't line up, and sometimes you have to kind of wait this out, and it's one of those things. Things that they don't change overnight. They certainly don't. John talked on the phone of having some real good, first round picks that he's going to watch on the way home from the tournament. One being in London, that he's excited about. Things take time, I think they're going to be okay. When you got guys in the room like Konechny and Scotty Lawton. Scotty Lawton is fantastic in that dressing room. He's a solid person. He just had a baby, by the way. Last week, so he's Scotty's doing well, and his family's doing great. When you gotta have kind of that mix, that balance of that veteran leadership of doing it the right way, and then capable rookies that can come in, and capable younger players that aren't cookie cutter and aren't afraid to rock the boat a little bit, aren't afraid to get into the messy spots and to stick up for their guys, and it just seems that. I don't know what's going on, but it just seems like everybody's coming out and they're all looking like the same package, right? Instead of something that you might say is pro ready.
Right. And then of course we'll move on to the New York Rangers here, because their story, I think all year they are a President's Trophy threat. They came a few games within the Stanley Cup Finals. You have played against the New York Rangers. You have played for the New York Rangers. You know what that spotlight's like. When you see a team like that with like a goalie like Shesterkin, do you think that they have what it takes, like based on the conference finals last year?
They're good, right? I mean, they're legit. When winning the Presidents, it's not easy to win the President's Cup, and it's not the Stanley Cup, but they were solid last year. They're off to another good start. They got guys that can just score. They find ways to score. They've got really mobile. The defense is fantastic. They got a good team. They have a very, very good team, and it'll be interesting. I don't know what their assets are like down in the minors, and what they're possibly gonna do come trade deadline. But that's a team that you talk about the East. That's certainly a team to be looking at for advancing.
And did you follow the Matt Rempe saga at all last season? The kid who's been going through the East. Did he fight last night?
Yeah, last night or the night before.
Yeah. McElrath, I think it was Dylan McElrath. He fought the other night. Yeah. Do you have any advice for just a young kid who's trying to go through the league and fight every tough guy, and it's only his first year in the league? Like, how do you talk to a kid like that?
I don't know. I'm not there. I have no idea. But there's, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. There's certainly more than, it's a common. The guys that, when I played, you had a guy like Chris Simon, who was tough as nails, but could score. Like Chris Simon, if he year on year, he'd a 25, 30 goal scorer, right? He was a fantastic player to have. Those were the guys that you wanted, the guys that could do both. The one trick pony isn't. I don't know if there's space anymore. If you can skate, it always was in the fourth line. The guys couldn't skate, so at certain points of the game, those players weren't available from your bench, right? You couldn't put them out there. Now everyone can skate. And now, if you're going to put in some toughness, you got to make sure that it's a combination of, you need some skill with the toughness, you need some skating with the toughness and reliability, and you send them out. You got to have faith and trust that they're capable, and a lot of guys are. Some guys are.
You played with a pretty tough guy named Craig Berube, who's now behind the bench in Toronto. Yeah. What can you tell us about Chief?
He's fun. He's what you see is what you get. Heart on his sleeve. Chatty in the dressing room. Fun. Like he was just he played wing for us and played third, fourth line and he was a contributor. He was always upbeat at practice. Always team first. And Craig was. I can see why I can see why players like playing for him. He's got that spirit about him, that aura that people like buying in. I mean, you think about what went on in St. Louis the year they won the cup and all the, that I think it was at games. What was the game that they came back and they had to come back? Like it was unreal that they came back and actually pulled out game 7 was it on the road? Mm-hmm. I think it was in the semis.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, like stuff like that. He's good. Toronto's got a good coach. Toronto's got a real good coach.
And I know that the hockey that you're paying the most attention to right now is minor hockey because you got kids in it. I know you were out skating this morning with them. Yeah. So let me ask you this. Since you're so involved in that, what's your biggest challenge with those kids?
Same as probably what it is for, a junior coach or a pro coach and it's, accountability. It's not we are the sum of all our parts kind of thing, right? Like it's your kids are so good. They're very talented, but I think they don't watch full games. I think that it's the highlights, the YouTube packages, the fan, and what they're seeing is the crazy saves, the crazy goals, the one-on-one moves, and it's becoming, moving the puck is a situation now where it's a last resort when someone has it. Oh, I'm going to keep doing my one-on-one moves, and now when I know I'm really screwed, now I'm going to take my trouble and I'm going to pass it 10 feet to the closest guy next to me and give him all my trouble as opposed to advancing the puck correctly, making sure people have time to breathe and you're still going the right direction. You're still heading north, but I just think it's the team focus. There's a lot of individual stuff that goes on and it doesn't breed kids junior ready or pro ready to go and to play. You got to have full teams. You need to have full rosters. You need to have accountability all the way through. And listen, I don't care if you got a superstar on your team. If he's not playing the right way and he's 11, 10 years, 10, 11, 12 years old, why don't you bench him? That's the only way he's going to learn. He's not going to learn by just going out and doing it again. And if his parents get mad and he leaves the organization, well, you know what? All right, so go. But this is the way that we're going to play. And if you want to be part of this certain organization, then that's the way that things are going to be done around here. Now, there's some give and take with that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, if I was just going to say, if a parent of a kid has a normal coach and they bench them, I'm sure the parent would come up and talk to them. But if you're the parent of a kid who's playing under Eric Lindros, does that have a bit of like? Do they come up and do they talk to you? Go, Eric, what the hell? Or do they go, you're right?
I've had a lot of my guys for a while now, and they buy in. Mm-hmm. But there's moments where they don't. They're young. They're 10 years old.
Yeah,
that's just part of it. Right? It's staying on top of it. It's parents are a huge part of this as well, right? Like if a parent doesn't know what structure or what your what you're asking of your kid, from stem to stern in terms of the structure of your team or your game plan. When they get in the car, you just spent 2 hours at the rink. You're talking about it. You go out and have a game. The messaging on the way home in the car might be completely different than what you've talked about. So making sure that you're communicating with the parents I found to be a really big step to make sure that everyone is, that they know what the accountability is and where we're expecting kids to go at certain times and under certain circumstances, so that the messaging is on. And you can tell the parents that care and the parents that don't, and it reflects in what their kids are about.
I told you about my book over a year ago, and you were like, "Oh, you got to write about minor hockey. You got to write about the kids." And I just didn't. My kid wasn't in hockey yet. It didn't feel like it was my time. I think this is your next book, man. I think this is your next book because I know you're fired up about it.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's I'm going step by step. It's a very interesting dynamic here in Toronto. It's I've seen some amazing things, good and bad. Amazing. Yeah, there's it's a weird setup. Mm-hmm. When you know what though, Dangle, I think overall, I think we're playing too many games.
There's so many games.
You think about it. Well, yeah, you got your league games, then you got, your tournaments, and you've got, you're upwards way over 55 games, I think, a lot of teams. Mm-hmm. And if you look at it, you got to, say you're playing 3-12s and you're running 3 lines, and then you've got the puck half the time. That's 6 minutes, right? That's a minute and 10 seconds on average that the kid's touching the puck. Mm-hmm. Whereas in an hour and a half practice, you're handling it the whole time. You're working on your skating. You're working on. I got a cat with this silly thing on a second. You hear that? That's driving me nuts.
I can barely hear it.
Oh my god!
You not hear this mouse?
Yeah. I heard the little jingle. Oh my god!
Oh my god! Cat.
That's awesome stuff.
Yeah, no, I like practice. I think that I like practice. I love. I think you get way more out of a practice. The games are important. Don't get me wrong, but they're kind of like taking a little quiz or a test along the way, right? Like where are we? What are we good at? So that's good. Let's keep working on that. Let's keep touching base on that. But where are we deficient? Where can we really get better? And what players need to be working on what things specifically? Right. And that's kind of what I look at a game. And then you're right back to practice. You drop your practice plans. I'm having fun with it. It's a good time, but it's hey, listen, it's an interesting dynamic with what goes on. Very, very interesting.
Last thing we want to ask you before we go here is there's another cause that's sort of near and dear to your heart. It's on your T-shirt, actually, literally.
Oh yeah, Rowan's Law. Yes.
So tell us about Rowan's Law, because I don't know anything about this, but Steve brought it up before the interview. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's our Ontario concussion law, and really, it's about being honest. It's about looking out for not just your kid, but other kids on the pitch, on the field, at the schoolyard. When in doubt, if something happened, and it's questionable whether or not the player or the person has sustained a concussion. Let's be on the side of caution. Let's take them out. Let's have them checked out by a doctor. And once that occurs, you're right back in there. Yeah, there's going to be some times you pull a player out and you think, what, they're fine. But you take the time to assess it. You don't just push the kid right back out and suck it up and whatnot. We're better than that now. And I'd really like to see Rowan's Law all across Canada. I know certain provinces have some different ideas, but it's kind of one of those living, breathing laws where if everyone got together and we've got our the best of the best that head over to Geneva every 4 years or whatever the number is, and they come back with all the updates on concussion, we can take that information and make alterations to the law. Yeah. That are in the benefit of everybody that would sustain a concussion. So it's a great thing that's going on. Neil Lumsden, our Minister of Sport, has done a fantastic job continuing on with this with the support of Mr. Ford, and we just like to see it spread its wings, coast to coast. I think it would be a great thing for our country.
Agreed. Well, Eric Lindros, we're looking forward to seeing you next week at the Eric Lindros Classic with Easter Seals. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Sounds good. See you guys. Have fun.
Isn't it annoying when you have to travel to different countries, but you're like, oh, I better turn off my cell signal until I get to the hotel or airport Wi-Fi so I can talk to people?
No, I just live crazy.
Yeah? You just love
you just rack up that phone bill?
Just rack it up.
Yeah, just say whatever.
Moneybags Dangle.
Steve Dangle.
No, I'm just stupid.
Listen, you should try Saily from NordVPN. It's a new eSIM service app brought to you by Nord Security, where basically you can choose from several affordable eSIM plans in over 160 countries and 8 regions. With a Saily eSIM, you always have a connection when needed. Now, Jesse.
Yes.
We got a message from a listener.
Yeah.
Who actually uses this.
I got a DM from Carter. And Carter said, "Hey, Jesse, just wanted to say I traveled to Australia recently and used Saley with the SDP code. And I was the only one in my family with service out in the bush. Love you. Love the content. Congrats."
That's so great. So here's the deal. We want to give you a 15% discount because he got it and we think you should get it. Use the code DANGLE at checkout. So it's Saley, SAILY.com/dangle, SAILY.com/dangle. I want you to make sure that you get that discount. One more time, you download the app or you go to SAILY.com/dangle. By the way, I have a question. Do we have Marc Messier on the desk to scare Steve?
Oh,
We have Marc Messier McFarlane toys on the desk here.
no! He's gonna turn down my suggestions for fun.
You want me to should I go get a cookie and put it in his hands where the Stanley Cup?
Oh my God, you can do that! Yeah. We have cookies. Oh my God, Maddie's on it. Maddie is on the case. Oh my God, that's the best idea I think you've ever had. Thank you. That's incredible. Now,
I think we need to tell Mess about this so he can be angry about it.
Can the Oreo fit? Here, wait. No, the Oreo's not big enough. Here, okay. We have a variety of cookies, so this is good.
This is making awful podcast.
This is terrible.
No, this is very good.
That's why I said no, let's not.
Yeah.
And then you were like, let's.
No, you're incorrect.
Yeah, quick edit.
Cookie
Right,
Just like when I actually met Marc Messier, complete disappointment.
There you go. Now,
Here, can we show this off? What? I need to finally show this off. This is my custom card from Joey Ferg, who is
sick.
Big on the hockey Twitters. It's a hockey card with me doing my pose. And I think it is very hot and sexy and beautiful.
That's really cool.
And I am going to bring it home. It is my SDPN trading card.
I love that. Marc Andre Fleury played his
Here,
last.
wait, Jesse, I want to interrupt for one more thing.
Can we talk about some hockey?
No. So here.
Marc Andre Fleury, last game in Pittsburgh. And I thought it was interesting because he gets the win. Mm-hmm. He gets the ovation afterwards. Letang and Crosby both have assists, but none of Letang, Malkin, or Crosby scored.
Steve called it. Yeah.
And when the game ended, it was his 563rd career victory.
You know, one of the number one criticisms of my book is the goalie Mount Rushmore chapter didn't talk about Fleury. Didn't.
Does Alan know that?
No.
Not yet.
He's about to.
And he helped me
about
with
to tell
that
him.
chapter, too.
Oh, wow.
Actually,
He did, yes, because so he has a story of I can't remember if he ever told it on AP where he met Ken Dryden as a little boy.
yes, he told that on AP.
So I text him. I'm like, hey, I'm not sure if I remember the story correctly. Did it go like this? And there are 3 Allen texts. Mm-hmm. There is you text him and he ghosts you. There are you text him and you get a maximum of 3 words. And there are you text him and he calls you for 45 minutes. And that was one of those 45-minute days. So a lot of the Ken Dryden stuff in that chapter was Allen. But
Nice.
Marc Andre Fleury, like the company in that chapter is ridiculous. And you know, maybe I'll feel a little differently after Fleury retires. Like for a first overall pick as a goaltender,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your career can't go much better than his has. Got a cup as a starter, 2 as a tandem guy.
Yeah.
Over 500 wins.
And he is second in wins ever for a goaltender.
He's second in goalie wins. Like he's ahead of Waugh.
So it's Broder at 691. So that's a lot of wins. Damn. Broder also played 200 more games than Fleury did.
So many of
have like 70 games a year.
Yeah, so many of Broder's records are unbeatable.
So next game that Marc Andre Fleury starts, he will tie Patrick Waugh for games played in the NHL. But he has 12 more wins than Waugh did over that same amount of time. And Roberto Luongo and Ed Belfour round out the top 5.
Fleury's old enough to have 2 ties as well.
Wow.
Like Lundqvist, who's on that list, doesn't have any ties.
Oh, okay. So that tips the scales, and that's another really, really annoying thing.
Yeah.
When you go back and you have to look at the all-time stats, is there were no ties here.
Like Luongo's got 33 ties. But he's also like, he's going to be nearly 100 back of Fleury. So like Fleury's passed him regardless of the ties and how those would have went.
One thing one of the editors caught with the goalie Mount Rushmore chapter is like Terry Sawchuk, I think was like, he was way far back in all time in saves. And I thought that was odd. And he's like, well, yeah, he played before they kept track.
Oh my gosh.
Of how many saves a goalie makes, and so did Glenn Hall and maybe Jacques Plante too. It's absurd.
Yeah.
But yeah, not having ties anymore definitely makes it easier.
Yeah, very, very cool from Marc Andre Fleury. By the way, his time on ice is almost matching Patrick Waugh too. It's hard to believe, really, because I still see Marc Andre Fleury as the kid.
There he is in shutouts here.
75 is so many shutouts.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
12th.
9, 10, 11, 12th all time in shutouts.
Just behind Eddie Belfour and Tony Esposito.
Yeah,
Damn.
the wins there, second all time in wins.
That's crazy.
Games played, fourth.
Here,
And he's going to get up to third all time. Incredible.
Can you do shutouts again?
Sure.
So, buddy in third there, George Hainsworth. I think I've told this before, but like something like half his 94 shutouts were before the forward pass.
Alec Cannell was born in 1900.
Who is that?
He's the
Connell.
And Tiny Thompson was born in 1903.
Can you tell me these team abbreviations that Alec Connell played for?
Damn. So we got S-E. Great catch, Jesse.
Senators, I think, right?
S-E-N.
No, it's by city.
No, because NYA is New York Americans.
Okay.
So S-E-N, I'm going to assume is the original Ottawa Senators. But
we got Ott.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's Dominic Hasek. So that's the new Ottawa Senators.
I gotta fact check this.
And DFL, I don't have the slightest clue.
MMR.
MMR, I think, is probably Montreal Maroons.
Oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Did Detroit have a team before the Red Wings called the Detroit Floridas? DFL?
Adam's actually very close.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's so stupid.
What is it?
1, the Senators. That's true. That's the OG Senators.
Okay.
2 is DFL. Adam said the Detroit what?
Detroit Floridas.
The Detroit Falcons.
No.
Oh! DFL stands for. That's not a bad guess at all. NYA.
New York Americans.
New York Americans. And MMR.
Montreal Maroons.
Montreal Maroons.
Very
Let's
cool.
go.
All
Wow.
right.
Let's go.
You guys actually were pretty close to all of
And what about
them.
what about Tiny? Who did Tiny play for? Tiny Thompson.
Bring it up.
1903.
Oh, Boston.
and Detroit.
Yeah.
So
those are normal.
So Marc Andre Fleury is 12th all time in shutouts, but 3 of the guys ahead of him played NHL games before you were allowed to pass the puck forward.
That's right. And George Hainsworth, by the way, oldest in the top 10 on the shutout list, 1893 was when he was born.
Holy hell.
Show that guy the iPhone.
Yeah, no, man. Can you imagine what that guy went through? And it's like he grows up and there's like horse and buggies. And by the time he's dead, there's like, there's like motorized vehicles and a nuclear bomb. And like, it's just crazy. But they talk about that history a lot. The amount of technology that changed for people born in that generation is crazy. It's like the most in human history. I guess we're going through the same thing, but
He would have been 6 years old for the events of Red Dead Redemption 2.
There you go. Well, and listen,
Very important.
Very, very
Which
important.
is like a factual retelling of history.
Yes,
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, you didn't know that? So anyway, that's how I feel about Marc Andre Fleury.
Now, Jesse, keep your top list up because we have another second place that got updated, and that is Alexander Ovechkin scoring twice.
Wow.
My fantasy team thanks him. And he is now 37 goals away from Gretzky's
goals.
record.
He's
38 from passing it.
On pace for 41 on the season, which gives him exactly the amount he needs to catch him.
And we were thinking that it was going to happen in March, April, so that would be super duper.
All I ask, I'm not demanding he break it this year. I am asking him to keep it close, though.
He's going to do it.
I think he's going to do it.
He's going to do it.
I've been saying it since the beginning of the season.
Even if he like power play merchants his way there or empty net merchants his way there, he's going to do it.
Who cares?
Even if he's on pace for something like 30 come the new year, that's still like Ovi could go on like a hot week and all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, shit, now he's on pace for 37. And
right.
Yeah, because he scored 5 this week or something like that.
He's one of the few guys in NHL history who heats up the closer he gets to a milestone.
And his current pace is that of breaking or tying the record. Like he doesn't even just stay at this, and he's good. And yeah, it's funny. Is like you're talking about his heating up thing. It's like we've seen him do it for 20 years. I'm sure he's still got it in him.
Now, Jesse, there is going to be a little controversy. Does this list scroll over to empty net goals?
No, they don't have.
Oh, son of a gun! So he has more than Gretzky.
Okay.
And then, so the record is going to be Ovi. Watch, there's going to be a world where Ovi has the record for most goals, but Gretzky has the record for most goals against a goalie.
Anybody who brings that up needs to leave.
Why?
They need to leave.
Why?
Did that make your book?
No.
Exactly. Your
Damn.
book is the definitive, we're going to have a hockey argument book, right?
Yeah.
If that isn't in the discussion, then I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear that. The one thing I wish is I could have written more extensively about this, because like if Ovi kind of needs to break it or not break it. You know what I mean? Like I really struggled with that one, and I wanted to write about it. I couldn't get there.
Jesse, can you go over to shorthanded goals?
Sure.
I don't know that anyone could ever come close to this. People forget, they're like, oh, why would you put a top line player shorthanded? Look at how many shorthanded goals Wayne Gretzky had.
Is that even the record, though?
It might not be, but look at how many. Let's have a look.
73. Oh, it is the record.
Messier had 63.
That's so dumb. Yzerman, Lemieux. It's still like a bunch of the all-timers. Look at Marchand!
In the top 10.
Marchand has more shorthanded goals, as many shorthanded goals as Sergei Fedorov.
That's cool.
In fewer games.
But
I had no idea Marchand was that good at scoring shorthanded goals.
Well,
holy shit.
Jesse, haven't you watched enough Bruins hockey?
Oh my God.
Where's the next active player?
Nowhere to be found.
Oh my God.
Absolutely nowhere to be found.
So Marchand's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 all time. And the next active leader, where are we at? There we go.
Oh, there's a couple.
We got a couple guys. It is Cam Atkinson.
What?
At 19.
Wow. Wait, go up 1 second. Go up 1 second. Okay,
so Marchand has nearly double what the next closest active player is.
Wow.
That's nuts.
Jordan Staal also tied at 19 goals. But yeah, that's on like the next. There's 50 people on the first page, so he's about like 70 something.
Wow.
They don't have why don't they sort when you change categories?
I don't understand that. That's why I use Quan Hockey, because it's like it gives you the actual rank.
I defended the NHL website the other day, and they're making me upset.
Well,
to be fair, this is a different subsection of the NHL.
I know.
Still, that should work like a normal website sorting tool.
I do like the shorthanded advantage Gretzky has over Ovechkin, 76-5.
Wow.
When was Ovechkin ever on the penalty kill to score 5 goals?
Obviously, he was at some point. I don't know how that happened, but
that's a good point.
Yeah.
That had to have been when he was young.
Anyway, I thought that's kind of exciting and fun. It's come out this morning that Connor McDavid, who was injured in the game versus Columbus
again, McDavid, stop playing Columbus Challenge,
will be out for at least a couple weeks, but it is nothing serious.
Okay.
So obviously, the exact timeline, according to Elliot Friedman, is to be determined, but at least a couple of weeks. And the Oilers are already not playing great. And so I wondered if this would be a devastating moment or a galvanizing moment where you come together.
It's the second one.
You think so?
Yeah, it's galvanizing. No, they've been... One of the things we talked about with the Oilers is like, this whole cup or bust thing, and it's probably a little bit of a lack of focus. Some of it is, that decor is straight up not good enough, but the Leafs record without Matthews is like absurd. They win the President's Trophy, like if they ever played at that pace. I think the Oilers can and will do the same without McDavid. Even if they don't completely blow the doors off, they'll play really well. They'll quickly adapt to better habits, and then they'll get McDavid back, and that'll be what they are for the rest of the year.
Would it help if Stuart Skinner or Calvin Pickard had a save percentage over .875?
That's crazy.
Would it help if Calvin Pickard, who has a .291 goals against average, had a less good goals against average, and Stuart Skinner has a 351.
350. So wait, Calvin Pickard has a 291.
He's got better stats, but he's played less games.
No. So that's the goals against. What's his save percentage?
875.
875. That's
Stuart Skinner's 872.
To me, that means the Oilers are playing well in front of him. The fact that he has an 875 and he's not allowing 3 goals a game.
Yeah, it's probably true. Probably true.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
3.5 goals a game. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Skinner, man. Like, what a weird team.
It is a weird team. And Skinner's got 2 goals, 2 assists. I know that he hasn't quite found his groove there yet, but I wonder if McDavid not being there allows some of these other goal-scoring guys who are used to getting top-line power play minutes like a Jeff Skinner to kind of go, okay, I found my rhythm and my pace here.
They'll be okay. And they woke Victor Arvidsson up the other day. He had no points. 3. But they got to do it. And I mean, a save. Dude, it's like the Oilers are Ilya Samsonov if he was an entire team. He was unusable, actually very good. Unusable. He stole Aiden Hill's job. What are you? I don't know what the Oilers are. Any given night. How do you sit down and I mean, I guess the beauty of them is you don't know what's going to happen any given game. Like you don't even have a vague idea of what's going to happen any given game. Mm-hmm. Weird team, man.
On the Oilers, I was going to save this for later, but I thought it was interesting. Daily Faceoff has reported that Darnell Nurse is in contention for a Team Canada roster spot on defense. So what they basically said on Oilers Nation was that Devon Toews, Cale Makar, Shea Theodore, and Alex Pietrangelo are your top 4.
That's a really good top 4.
But they said how many of them, one of the executives said.
Can you say it one more time?
So it's Toews, Devon Toews, Cale Makar, Shea Theodore, and Alex Pietrangelo.
That's a huge leg up for Canada because it's pair.
Right. that makes it easy, right? Yeah. One executive did mention, this is according to the Anthony DeMarco from Daily Faceoff. One executive did mention the question of how many power play defensemen Team Canada can have. You need players who can play defensively. That's where they think a guy like Darnell Nurse and Travis Sanheim may find their way into playing in the top 6 or top 7 on this team. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've also heard, we had that report about Tom Wilson. This is feeling like, and I could be totally off here, this is feeling like 2006 Olympics Team Canada.
It's feeling like galaxies and moons and stars are orbiting the executives' heads, and they're just completely galaxy braining this.
I thought you were going to say something else. I thought you were going to say this is feeling like agents trying to lobby for their players.
Well, that's probably true. That's probably true.
Where are these leaks coming from? Trying to get their players into the Four Nations.
Yeah, that's a good point. However, I have seen this play out before where Canada's front office is known to get stale. And, I remember a team where they were like, Joe Sakic is on fumes. Steve Yzerman is on fumes. We got this young 18-year-old Sidney Crosby. No, fuck him. Leave him off.
Eric Stahl.
Jason
Spezza.
Like, that team was old and slow and bad, and they performed bad. And then the next time Canada went to the Olympics, they fucking, were unbelievable because, we're not going to repeat those same mistakes. And Jesse, point taken, you're absolutely right. But I'm concerned because they said one executive did mention. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that part's scary for me.
Is the executive an executive in Edmonton who's pumping up
Man Stoneman?
I think with these leaks, it's sounding like guys pumping up their own guys to try and get them to the team.
Darnell.
Hello.
Yeah.
I couldn't be Stan Bowman.
I don't know if
I have a mustache.
I don't know if it was Julian Breezewall being like, you know what, Darnell Nurse, I'm gonna leak that he needs to go to the
feels
team.
Weird, doesn't it?
It feels like maybe the leak came out of Edmonton and they're trying to get their guy over there.
But okay.
Hi. Have you ever known Stan Bowman to wear a spider skeleton on his head? Couldn't be I.
Did you guys see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that.
Perhaps.
So his Darnell Nurse's agent is Anthony Caprazano, Travis.
And it doesn't have to be the
Oh!
agent. It doesn't have to be the agent. I'm just
No, it's-
speculating. It can also be...
Hey,
'cause you said-
they're speculating. You can speculate.
You can
What's
said
wrong with
it
that?
was an executive, so it could be somebody within the organization. But I feel like with these leaks, it has people who have things on the line.
Interesting.
That would it would help to have their player there.
That
Jesse, spicy.
I don't know.
Ah,
With the defensemen, yeah, because like you name all the guys who are there, like those four, I think they should be there.
well,
but
it's Cale Makar got like 15 points.
yeah, like Cale Makar is obviously he's the free square.
Devon Taves has been brutal.
Because he's hurt.
Yeah.
He's hurt, and the
playing.
team is destroyed.
And I don't think you have a choice but to pair them up. You know, it's probably the best result, and then you pair up the other guys as well.
Sorry,
And
Devontae's fantasy holder. So
I don't think there's
upset.
any reason for Nurse to be ahead of a guy like Josh Morrissey. Like there's somebody who's on the best team in the National Hockey League, who's a number one.
Tell me, hold on. Tell me why Morgan Riley wouldn't be on that team if Nurse can.
Morgan Riley's got a case against Darnell Nurse, I think for sure. But like, if we're talking defensemen, like Morrissey's, I think 5 for me.
Christopher Tanev.
If you're looking for
not?
If you're looking for a
strictly
PK guy.
defense,
Well,
yeah.
okay.
If
So-
that's how you're going to do it, if you're going to be like, these are our OFDs and everybody else, it doesn't really matter the skill level. We need to have defensive defensemen. Chris Tanev is the best metrically. He's the best metrically of the last 3 years.
There are some. So, okay, here's what I think is going on. Every conversation I've had about this tournament, and specifically about Team Canada, has gone the same way. The states are better. On paper, Team USA right now trucks Canada. Trucks. The skill is through the roof. And what Canada did for a long time is they're just like, all right, well, we're better. That's a pretty good strategy, is just be better. We'll simply throw 20 superstars at the world and beat them because we're better. They can't do that this time because they won't be able to. Canada's best will not be able to beat the States' best. So they got to be kind of pricks about it. Why else have Tom Wilson on your team? That's one of the best 12 forwards this country has.
He did score 5 goals in 5 games to start the season.
I don't care.
Tom Wilson also has not been named to the team.
He has.
You know,
He hasn't been named to the team, but like I wouldn't care if he had 10 by American Thanksgiving or whatever, or 12. It's Tom Wilson. Like, sure, have him in consideration or whatever, but top 12 in Canada. Shocking behavior. Get out of my house. What are you talking about? Oh, well, we're trying to go for a certain thing. All right, well, you have my attention.
Okay, so
Like
there might be a formula here.
all right. And Damon Severson was the other name you mentioned.
No, it
Oh,
was
was it?
Travis Sanheim.
Oh, Travis Sanheim. Okay, so I'll go with Damon Severson. I think can be in the conversation. Dougie Hamilton, I think can be ahead of
reads too many books, man.
ahead of.
Why do people hate
Nurse?
that man's guts?
Hamilton?
Yes.
I don't know. Very good player.
He's really good.
Adam, you'll love this one. Vince Dunn. I
love
think
that one.
can be
I like
should
Vince
be
Dunn.
ahead
Love
of
Vince
Darnell
Dunn.
Nurse. Like I think there's and Sanheim.
so let's
I want to give out the options just so we know how what they have to choose from and how I don't think like those guys should make the list.
They're all power play
hoops
guys.
among them can kill penalties, right? So again, I watched the Oilers playoff run last year very, very closely. Almost every game outside of the first round. And for me, when I saw that team, I was not like, man, I can't believe how good Darnell Nurse is at killing penalties. It always seemed like with Darnell, and you know the contract plays into this. This is an NHL defenseman. He's a top 4 defenseman. Yeah. He makes too much. Whatever. Good for him. He secured the bag. It's not his fault. What I look at with Darnell Nurse is his play is so dependent on who he's playing with. And yes. I feel like at the level of Team Canada, you need to be a guy who's good no matter what. You need to be the guy driving the top 6. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You need to be the guy who's the best that a team has to offer. And Darnell is the 3rd best, at best, defenseman on his own team.
But
at best.
kills penalties.
I mean, how's the Oilers' PK?
Let me throw a name at you to spice up the Battle of Alberta and make it so that the headline is not Riley and Tanev. Mackenzie Weegar?
Yeah.
We're leaving Mackenzie Weegar off this list?
There's an option.
Nurse is at the top of it?
I've been looking at shorthanded time on ice by career for Canadian defensemen. Chris Tanev's at the top of the list.
There you go.
I feel like if you're strictly looking for people who want to play on the PK, Chris Tanev's got to be up there.
Here are the three best teams at penalty kill.
Yeah.
Boston.
Sure.
Florida. Edmonton. Edmonton's penalty kill percentage, so maybe we correct ourselves here, is 94% right now.
Nice.
Hey, on the season.
Yeah. So you got the Rangers. So 5-1, Rangers, Nashville, Boston, Florida, Edmonton.
Mackenzie Weegar's up there.
I like Mackenzie Weegar a lot.
In time shorthanded amongst Canadian defensemen. Other guys up there who would be in contention. Braden McNabb.
Oh, son of a gun. McAvoy's American. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. Yeah.
Son of a. And so here's the part where it gets uber frustrating is I think for Canada they're going to have an extremely mobile and responsible defense core because the goaltending situation is not great. You're counting on Darcy Kemper to have a bounce back year. Pierre LeBrun just wrote an article about him in The Athletic. You're counting on Samuel Montembeault, who got lit up last night. You're counting like that. So
Habs are bad, dude.
When you form that defense, whatever it is, it's pretty fair to say that the goaltending elite caliber that Canada is used to is not going to be there. So you're going to have guys that can kill penalties. I'm still having trouble with the Darnell Nurse thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I'm right.
Right.
Canada once had Cujo, Brodeur, Waugh on the same roster.
And they left Belfair off.
Right. I'm starting to see that if they want strictly penalty kill, like if they're why are you willing to sacrifice the rest of the game, I think, just to have Darnell Nurse to kill penalties? I would say and argue that, like, why couldn't you just take the best players and tell them to kill penalties?
I'm sure they learned at some point.
I'm sure they're capable of doing that, and that's kind of how I would build the roster. And this isn't to take away from Darnell Nurse's abilities. Like, they clearly have a very good penalty kill. But we're comparing the best of the best, and that's the discussion.
If there's a top 10 defenseman in this country, is he one of them? Like, top of the...
Right,
like,
if we're taking the overall game.
I'll hear the argument.
Yeah.
For top 10, but we're talking top 5 apparently because like, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I think you could lock in Jordan Binnington as the starter at this point.
So
he's been good.
Can we talk about that for a sec for the goalies? So
Binnington, Hill, Montembeault or something.
Binnington, Hill, who's been awful.
Yeah.
Aiden Hill's been terrible. He's losing his job to Ilya Samsonov like fast. Samsonov, I think, is a 932, and Hill has like a 875. He's been brutal in very small sample.
And maybe Stuart Skinner.
Maybe, who's also been awful.
Yeah.
Right? So I was thinking about it. We were having a conversation about who Team Canada's goalies are going to be. And I was thinking to the World Juniors. And I was like, when was the last time Canada's goalie turned into like a bona fide starter? So I'm going to give you a list. This is from, I think it's from Quan Hockey. All like Team Canada's goalies going back to 1991. Olivier Waugh, Mark Vicentine, Scott Wedgwood, NHL goalie.
Very good for a long time.
Starter, no. Jordan Binnington, ding, ding, ding. There you go. Malcolm Subban, Jake Patterson, Zach Fucali, Eric Comrie, NHL goalie, backup. Mason McDonald. Like, I don't even remember half these guys, dude. Mackenzie Blackwood.
Yeah. NHL is the same way as Scott Wedgwood, and a longtime NHLer.
Connor Ingram.
Can have a job.
Connor Ingram.
Yes.
There you
NHLer. Thumbs up.
Colton
Started.
Point.
No.
Carter Hart.
Was and then
Yeah, no.
is bad.
Ian Scott. Injuries ended his career. Mikey DiPietro is like the fourth goalie in the Bruins system right now.
Goalie, yeah.
Joel Hofer.
Okay.
Backup.
Backup
for the
to
Blues.
Team Canada at last year's World Championships.
Nico Dawes.
Oh,
NHLer. 4A player, baseball term.
Where are we going?
There you go. Tyler Gauthier. No, I'm still going. Devin Levi. Let me look down the barrel of this thing. Devin, I need you to be good. Okay? I know you're with the Sabres. At minimum, I need you to be good every 2 years, okay? Because they're going to be doing this tournament and then the Olympics, okay? You're our last hope. Unless Dylan Garand, I don't know, Brett Bruco, I don't know, Sebastian Kosa, or you. You also.
There's somebody with high expectations.
It's got to be either Levi or Kosa. You're our only freaking hope because shit is bleak right now. And then the guys who have played the last few years, that's not very fair. But holy shit.
I would like to issue an instant correction.
What?
Well, I told you that the Oilers had a really good penalty.
Did you do it again?
God,
no way!
You'll be happy to know
Oh my god.
that was from last year's playoffs. That stat. For whatever reason, Covers had it listed as current, and then I went through and I found out that it wasn't current.
Were you looking for?
So no. That's somewhat relevant. Like, I mean, they were good in the playoffs.
They were
and
good
he
in the
was part of
playoffs.
it. That works.
So
I'm grading on a curve.
I just thought it was interesting, and that you might want to know that the Oilers' power play is the worst in the NHL.
Oh,
Power play or penalty kill?
Penalty kill.
Okay.
62.07% kill rate. So
words matter.
Hey, listen, we tried to make Darnell Nurse work. This is cut it to me. That's the piece. There
What
it
are we
is.
doing here? Like,
No,
what?
but to be fair to Edmonton, it's also he's not playing with the Oilers when he's playing for Team Canada. You know, like playing with Team Canada, and he's defending with those guys. It's not just him on the Oilers. You're taking.
Oh well, then let's just put anyone. If we can just put anyone, let's put a better anyone.
Exactly.
Holy shit!
No, I'm
about that.
I'm on the side of there are a lot of options here. Just take the best guys, and they can play the penalty kill.
Yeah.
Like
There are better Canadian defensemen on other Canadian teams. There might be better
Chris
defensemen.
Tanev Chris Tanev was
Where's
the
Evan
perfect
Bouchard from? Where's Evan Bouchard from? No, I wouldn't have him kill a penalty.
I'm just saying,
For the love
Chris
of God.
Tanev is perfect.
Evan Bouchard is Canadian. He's from Oakville.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
He's not even the best Canadian defenseman on his own team.
Doesn't kill penalties like Nurse does.
He is somewhat of a defensive lineman.
Yeah, no, you.
But whatever, man. He moves the shit out of the puck.
Tell that to Team Canada. Tell
No,
that to
John Wilson, Darnell
Tell that to
Nurse.
John Cooper.
Yeah.
Matthias Ekholm lives in Canada. Does that work?
So Jason, who is a listener of ours, reached out last year because he's fundraising for ALS. And I'll just say it right off the top. If you want to help Jason fundraise for ALS, you can see the links in the description, either on the video or on the app that you're listening on. His dad, Matt, was diagnosed with ALS. His brother, his mom, and his dad have all become huge advocates to raise awareness. And it's important that you understand this is with ALS Action Canada, 80% of people with ALS die within 3 years of being diagnosed. Every year, 1,000 more families in Canada will receive this diagnosis. You have a 1 in 350 chance of being diagnosed or somebody in your family being diagnosed. And if you're not aware, it kills your motor neurons. So basically, your muscles turn to waste until they're paralyzed. It ultimately affects a person's ability to walk, swallow, and eventually breathe. And so what they want to do is raise funds to try to find a cure for this disease because it's devastating to families. And it's also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. You might know it as that. So check it out. It's in the description of this video or on the audio platforms as well. alssuperfund.ca. That's alssuperfund.ca or alsactioncanada.org. Utah and their depleted defense core got a little boost. Olli Määttä is headed there from Detroit for a third-round pick.
What an underrated career.
Yeah. So Olli Määttä, this is crazy. He was a high-round pick.
22nd overall, 2012.
Jumped into the league right away.
Yeah.
Made the team out of camp. And what's crazy is he's 30 and he's played 12 years.
He's currently 10th in games played in the 2012 draft class. I looked this up last night. 691 career games played, another 85 in the playoffs, 2 cups. And this is a guy who, for a big chunk of his career, was like, oh man, when's Olli Määttä going to break out?
People were like, well, Pens fans, bust. I mean,
He won 2 cups with them.
He's a depth guy, but he has won 2 cups, as you said, 85 playoff games, and Utah needed somebody to play defense. They needed a warm body, so they gave up a third-round pick, which I was like, that's a lot for Olli Määttä.
Detroit frees up $3 million they weren't using because they weren't really using Olli Määttä, and they get a third-round pick for it. Pretty good.
Steve, just on the Olli Määttä stat stuff from his career, he finished 5th in Calder voting in his rookie season.
Wow.
Can you name the 4 guys who finished ahead of him?
So when was his rookie season?
2012.
13-14 NHL season.
Damn. Must be 2012.
The 13-14 NHL season. Can you tell me the 4 guys who finished ahead in Calder voting? Adam, you can play as well.
I have no idea.
Aaron, wait, the 13-14 season?
Yes.
Nathan McKinnon?
Who won the Calder?
Wow.
Well done.
All right.
I feel like you won the competition already there.
Gabriel Landeskog?
No.
Fuck. I'm trying to think of guys taken in the 2013 draft.
2 long-time Lightnings.
So Stamkos.
Nope.
Oh, no.
Hedman?
No.
Long time. They had a little lower the lineup line. They
Not Braden Point.
Nope.
No. Shit. Long time.
Not Kucherov.
A center and a left winger.
Not Kucherov.
They finished 2 and 3 and
What?
Adam,
Tyler Johnson?
Yes.
Yeah, he was crazy.
He finished, He finished 3
was good.
in Calder voting that season. The other one, Adam's a big fan of.
Oh, no. Andre Palat?
Andre
No
Palat.
way! Andre Palat?
Andre Palat finished 2nd in Calder voting in the 13-14 season,
No
only
way.
losing to Nathan McKinnon.
That's 2/3 of the triplets.
Yes.
Wow.
How did you know? Yeah, okay,
The
anyway.
triplets was Tyler Johnson, Andre Palat, and Nikita Kucherov.
Yeah.
Yes.
These 3 scrappy kids. I wonder if they're going to stay long term.
And lastly, the 4th place finisher is a Boston Bruins defenseman. He's 22 at the time. Mean guy.
He was 22 in 2013-14.
Mean guy.
Defenseman
Mean guy.
might spear you a little.
Spiria.
Speria.
And he's a Bruin?
Bruin, yeah. Was a Bruin in the 13-14 season.
Not Johnny Boychuk, would it? No.
No.
He's too
No.
old for that.
Yes.
Might Spirium.
I don't know if that helps.
Am I hung up on that?
Yeah, I think you are.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of young Bruins defenseman.
Who was mean?
McAvoy? No.
No.
Oh, Torrey Krug?
Torrey Krug.
Oh, very good.
Other McAvoy.
That's good. That was
Older
good, yes.
McAvoy. Yeah,
There you
okay.
go. That was the top 5, and then 5 is our boy here, Olli Määttä.
That's cool.
That's a crazy.
That's kind of a cool
run.
class.
Dude, he's had a great career.
I want to throw out there that the trade, according to articles I've read, opens up more ice time for guys like Justin Hall, Eric Gustafsson, and rookie Albert Johansson that they're taking a look at. And I know
not?
a lot of Leaf fans were salivating. They're like, well, if Olli Määttä is a third, that must mean Timothy Liljegren must be more.
Guys.
Let me just throw this out there.
No.
I hate to burst your bubble here, but Timothy Liljegren isn't playing.
Neither was Määttä,
But more is like
Liljegren has an extra year.
Oh, okay.
I don't understand why they did that.
What do you mean?
Signed him to 2 years.
So Olli Määttä has played 7 games this year. Timothy Liljegren's played.
Well,
played 2.
okay. So he's not in the lineup every night.
He's on a rotation though. Timothy Liljegren is not in the rotation.
Like at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why a team would look at, if I'm the opposing general manager, I'm like, yeah, sure, he's got great skills, but you're not playing him for a reason.
This is rapidly approaching what are we doing here territory. Like,
well, they could just hold him all year if they want.
they shouldn't.
But and then what? Like I guess my point is that if someone does go down,
I know.
yeah,
It's funny though. Whenever the Leafs have a guy in this position, they seem to be healthy, like just so healthy. Remember
Yeah.
Josh Levo? Well, it's good to have him there, and then no one got hurt.
Right.
And he just
Never played.
collected cobwebs. It kind of screwed with his career.
Oh yeah.
Like he ended up playing a bunch more games in a bunch more places, but who knows? Like that was during a time in his career that was key to his development. He could have been a better player.
Absolutely. Probably should have been. That was part of the issue with Babcock, though, is that he didn't have any sort of competition for lineup spots. It was just, this is my guy and you are not my guy.
These are my guys. His shot was so dumb. His
It
shot was ridiculous.
So yeah, Matt has played, and I think the key for Liljegren is if he is going to be traded for anything of value that you care about, he's gonna have to figure out how to play in this system, or he's gonna sit. And if the Leafs don't get something for him, barring some sort of cap emergency where they must get that cap off the books, and I don't think they have that right now because of the amount of IR time guys like Dewar and Yarncroke and all those guys have stood on the sidelines on IR To me, it's like, well, why wouldn't you just keep him?
There's a little bit of speculation that, not amongst like journalists or anything, like in the Twitter scuttlebutt of fandom, that they'll make a move because of this the Olli Määttä move that just happened, that Liljegren's now going to move out, and that'll free up the room to bring back Hakanpää and Dewar. But do you guys foresee that happening?
I don't. Is that
48 hours?
Is that a pending issue? I haven't paid too much attention to the Leafs cap this year, but is that like some sort of like they need to do this to do that?
The Red Wings are in a very we can take it or leave it position, which I think is why they did so well against Utah. The Leafs aren't really in that position at all. Like if you're saying they're trying to move them so that they can do stuff, that takes away some of your leverage because you get something out of this.
Right.
More than just like you need this cap space. Where Detroit's like, you can take him if you want him.
Right.
It's a little different. Also, I can't help but wonder if Utah is paying we just blew a 4-1 lead in 5 minutes to the Sharks tax.
Yeah,
Dude.
you needed to make a move.
Like I can't. There's my voice. I can't help but wonder if, what happened the other night. Completely just, all right, that's enough. We have to friggin' do something that was pathetic.
Right.
Yeah.
So they do need the roster spots because they're at 23 of 23.
Okay.
Without the guys on LTIR.
Who's this?
So the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh.
So if you want to have Hakanpää in the lineup, you need a roster spot.
So they're against the wall.
Yes.
Right? Detroit is not.
So is it, I don't know who's eligible to be sent down, who would probably clear waivers. Is that the move? I assume, so you don't lose anybody.
Philip Myers?
But there's a question to be there's a decision to be made with the roster if you want to play Dewar and Hakanpää. You got to free up 2 roster spots. So a lot of people want, hey, let's go get our 3rd round pick that's now available for Liljegren because Olli Määttä went for a 3rd round pick. Go get that after the Seattle game.
If I'm not mistaken, if you've cleared waivers, you can be sent down without having to go through waivers again for 30 days. So Myers would qualify. I'm trying to think of who else went on waivers. Didn't Timmins go on waivers and no one took him?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but they're not doing that though.
Right.
He's in the top 6.
If Myers is the easy square, then Hakanpää comes back, and then what do you do when you want Dewar?
Who else went on waivers?
What do you do when you want Yarncroke?
They do. This is kind of coming to a head here. Yeah.
Whatever.
It's not urgent, but it's gonna be quick.
Adam, are you gonna text Steve in the next 48 hours and say make a Liljegren video?
That's a good question. I don't think so.
Okay.
I honestly, I don't know what it's going to look like, but if you signed, you had to sign Liljegren this summer.
Well, because they
Which I was, by the way, I want to say, I thought that deal was shit from the beginning, and I owned that. I was like, guys, this is bad. Why do we have to pay him this much? And it's because right shot defensemen who play NHL games are worth that. Okay, some of them are.
They wanted to protect him from an offer sheet, and now we're
should have let him have it.
Well, now we're at a
got a 3rd round pick out of it.
Exactly. Like, there's no way you're gonna even get an offer sheet's worth of assets out of this guy. Like, are you gonna get what the Oilers got for Holloway?
No.
Well,
and I wonder if we talk about waivers and we talk about who they send down. Is Timothy Liljegren at $3 million and not playing hockey valuable enough? Because here's what I say. I'd say, okay, so if they lost him on waivers, yeah, it kind of sucks that you don't get a draft pick back because you could ideally parlay a 3rd or a 4th in a trade at the trade deadline, right? We want to do that. But at the same time, you weren't playing him, and you get rid of $3 million on the cap. And I listen. I'm in the camp of keep this man. But if we have roster spots, we got to fill. I think Tyler Myers is probably going to go. Philippe Myers, not Tyler Myers. And
man, they just keep adding guys.
And I go, why are we taking from defense to add to forward when we've got way too many forwards? I'm looking at a guy like Pontus Holmberg, and I'm going, I don't know that you've been good enough to stay here.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if he clears. I think a team would take a shot on Holmberg for $800K.
I think it's poor management to lose a guy for nothing when you don't have to. Like, you have other options here. You know what I mean? Like sending Myers down.
That's one.
That is only one guy, though. Fuck.
You need two. Liljegren, I think the $3 million cap kind of protects him. I do.
Is Liljegren a Marley? Like, is that the point we've reached where
Well,
Liljegren's a Marley?
There are...
Maybe on a conditioning stint.
Yeah.
I can see
That makes sense.
Gives you a couple weeks,
Yeah.
right? I know a guy like Kyle Dubas would take a chance on him. I know Edmonton would probably put in a claim for him if they had the cap space. I don't know. McDavid's out, so maybe they will.
I don't know enough about how this one individual player has performed, but like Liljegren could go in where St. Evany is on the Penguins. And I mean, as long as you're trying to do whatever the hell it is the Penguins are trying to do, you should try to get better and try to win. This is a guy you drafted, or well, he was drafted by the team while you were there. Sometimes I wonder, man, I'm so
Current cap
disappointed.
space for the Pens is $95,000. So
So they
Liljegren-
can't do it.
There'd have to be some sort of equivalent roster move for the Penguins to bring on Liljegren at $3 million. Maybe they can just send Liljegren down.
I'm so disappointed we're here.
Why?
Like, because he was a first round pick that I was pretty stoked
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I know that's spilt milk or whatever, and like, I still wouldn't be shocked to see him turn into a everyday NHL player who's like good.
I 100% agree because like even this summer when they signed it, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
I could see him growing into that. Yeah, but then the moment, like his first game in camp, I'm like, this guy stinks. And like, you have so little time to make a good impression on your coach. And what I said was like, he's already made his first impression when he played against Craig Berube's teams. So this is your like new chance at a first impression, and he was terrible. I don't know, like,
Maybe he just doesn't have it.
Well, if he ends
Or he
up
doesn't
being
have what
good
they
somewhere else, don't let it be lost, like within the context of everything, that he was terrible.
Oh, but the numbers.
No.
That's a guy where I actually go, I look at the numbers and I go, that's nice.
He was
It did
nearly
not-
always sheltered.
Well, exactly. There's that. And by the way, shelter goes both ways. We were singing Connor Timmins' praises, and he's playing sheltered minutes, right? Last show.
And he's doing better.
He is doing better. It's not, sometimes it's not about the skill the player has or the possession they have with the puck or how they move. Sometimes it's about literally, can you move a guy? If you're locked down in your own zone, can you move a guy? Can you tie up a guy in front of your net?
Timmins, like every now and then I'm like,
He's tough.
a body check. He used his shoulder. Liljegren in front of the net is just a house of horror, and I hate watching it, and I've hated watching it for years. It's so many other things he's done so well that you can almost be like, all right, you take the good with the bad. And then he kind of stopped doing all that, and you're like, it's just bad.
Well, and this is where he has the skill set, and I think that's why Toronto's hung on so long, is they see that the potential is there, but they can't seem to bring it out at him. And sometimes it's a change of pace, change of city, whatever. And sometimes the player doesn't have it. I think this is probably a good enough NHL player,
Yes,
above replacement level, who is not what the Leafs want and not what the Leafs need.
I think there's also an element of both parties are checked out.
Yeah, they're done.
The Leafs are done with him, and he's done with them.
Yep. And that happens. It happens with Rasmus Sandin, right?
He decided, I don't want to be here anymore.
So I think just for that, like in the next 48 hours, we're going to see Myers go down or at least be waived, and we'll see if he claims. And then like one of the forward group who's not being used be sent down. So maybe it's Holmberg.
So sorry, remind me why this needs to happen in the next 48 hours?
If they want to act, because after the Seattle game, that'll be 11 games, 10 games played plus 24 days that they'll spend on season opening LTIR. So that means Hakanpää and Dewar will be eligible to return. It just happens to be after the 11th game. All of that is confirmed.
So we might,
after the Seattle game on Friday morning, they can bring back Hakanpää and Dewar.
Oh.
And they were on the road trip, so we know they're kind of healthy and ready to go. They are at 23 roster spots. They have 23 of 23 right now with the full roster. That doesn't count the LTIR guys. So in order to bring back any of those players who are on season opening LTIR, they need to free up 2 roster spots.
When was the last time we were like, oh man, the Leafs just have this glut of right-handed defensemen?
Yeah, it's crazy. I also want to say
and
that
that also includes they need to get about 1 point, I think it's $4 or $1.5 million in cap space, which will probably just happen by the 2 guys you take off of the roster.
it's setting us up perfectly to do a show on Friday speculating about this, and then at 3:00 they'll tell us. I can't wait. I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that.
I would imagine it's one of the forwards goes down, one of the defensemen goes down, and the Liljegren's on the roster.
Kevin Fiala. I'm moving on from the Leafs here for a sec, guys.
Oh, yeah. Thanks friggin' a lot.
Kevin Fiala, who's on my fantasy team, scratched for missing a team meeting. And that led me to think, and I'm going to ask Jesse this. Jesse.
Uh-huh.
How many scratches out of this? Who would have the most scratches if we go by meetings missed at SDPN? Who would have the most scratches?
What is the question?
Like I showed up late today, for example, so I would be scratched from the show.
Yeah.
And Maddie would be filling in.
Yeah.
Maddie would be sitting in the middle.
If you show up late, you get scratched.
Yeah, and if you miss the meeting, you're definitely scratched.
Well, then you didn't even show up to the meeting at all. So between who?
I think all 3 of us, but I'm asking you.
I'm going to
you
say
don't.
Jesse.
It's an interesting question because when are we going back to?
Oh.
Because Steve was a lot more. He was late a lot more often than Adam in the middle days. In years 2 through 7, I'd say. But lately, Adam's late per 60 has been it's been looking like the deserved a win-o-meter for the Leafs. It's at 99% every game.
Should win all the games.
What's that commute looking like, Adam? Is that like what is it, 45 minutes?
15, 20 minutes max.
Oh.
So if we're doing the overall tally, lately Adam's been catching up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I don't know.
So it's a bit
I don't think either of you would play.
we're neck and neck.
Damn!
It would be me, Maddie, and Hayden doing the show.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then
Jesse, I hope you can drive your own line, man.
Justin can do the switching or something.
I love that.
You know what? It's earned. No, I got a problem with Jim Hiller.
Why?
I hate that decision.
Because of your fantasy team.
Because of my fantasy team.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jim, what the hell? Man.
You guys think that's fair punishment?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
You got to have a standard. Sometimes guys sleep in or things happen or whatever, and it doesn't really matter what the excuse is, and I'm saying this as a late guy. When it comes to that sort of thing, the standard is the standard. Everybody's got to be treated at the same standard.
He's not the first. He won't be the last. And the Kings are...
remember the Leafs sat Kadri for a game?
They did, but also and Tyler Seguin very famously, but it's not about Kevin Fiala and sending a message to Kevin Fiala. Maybe it is a little bit. It's about sending a message to Brant Clark. It's about sending a message to Jordan Spence. It's the Kings are in this weird kind of transitional phase where
To Phoenix Copley.
Yeah, no, they got a ton of kids. They got some
do.
really important kids. And
Turcotte, Byfield, those guys,
yeah, Akil Thomas, they got to set a standard. And Fiala, who's a vet, he was drafted 2014, wasn't he the Nylander draft? You've been in the league long enough, don't be late. And we're setting a standard for the kids.
Yeah, it hurt my fantasy sports.
I always say,
game.
my motto is don't be late. It's going to be my next tattoo.
There it is.
It's going to be my next tattoo, and I'm going to show up late.
He's listed as day-to-day on Yahoo because he missed practice.
I'm just getting absolutely smacked in fantasy this week. So
yeah?
thank you for bearing me a little extra.
He's playing against Vegas tonight. I'm sure he'll be back in.
Good.
Steve Lloyd, who is the morning show guy at TSN 1200 in Ottawa, shared an interesting stat on Twitter yesterday.
Is it about the Leafs?
It is not about the Leafs, but it's about the Senators.
Sorry.
And I thought you'd find this interesting. Since Shane Pinto joined Tim Stützle and Josh Norris on the Senators in the spring of 2021, all 3 have appeared in the same game 47 of a possible 266 times.
Oh, my God.
That's 21%. The Sens' record in those games, just 47 of them, 29, 15, and 3, which is a 106-point pace.
Whoa. That's pretty good.
I thought that was pretty notable, huh?
You know what? I was
Good
being
stat.
snarky. Banger stat.
Good stat.
Banger stat.
Yeah, that was killer. I thought that was worth bringing up. That's a hell of a stat.
Banger stat. No, wow. Extremely good. And it goes to show, Jesus, what an awful string of luck the Canucks have had. The Sens have had
The Ottawa
over
Canucks.
the last few years.
Worth noting, the Ottawa Senators beat the St. Louis Blues 8-1 last night.
Yeah.
A lot of 8-goal games.
Shout out Drake Batherson, who's coming into his own as an NHLer. He was close to a 30-goal season last year, 28 goals in 82 games, and this year he's already got 5 in 9. I think this is his first career 30-goal season. Keep it up. He's more than a point-a-game player right now, 12 points in 9 games.
He hasn't scored 30 yet?
No.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Yeah, last year he got close, and at 26, I think he's maturing into the NHLer that he can be, and just having a solid team around him that's healthy with those guys that can't play together for all of those games. I think he's had a really good start to his season.
They have weapons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The problem has been in recent years keeping the puck out of your net.
Yep.
Yeah, the goaltending. And like they're not making Omar look great right now at some moments this season, but they're finding ways to get wins here. And I think Ottawa's going to be in contention for a playoff spot.
You know, okay, victory aside, you know, okay, you won by 7 goals. Yeah. But your goalie was challenged to a fight and he didn't do it.
Yeah,
And I just need to know how that's going to affect the Sens season and how they're going to recover from it.
Bennington's a coward. That's something.
Whoa!
He does do that.
How dare you?
He loves a hey, fight me, and then there's nothing
Doesn't
actually
fight.
on the line because there's no fight that's going to happen.
Yeah. By the way, this morning on the Fan 590, this is dating back to our conversation on Timothy Liljegren. According to Frank Saravalli, several teams have shown interest in Maple Leafs defenseman Timothy Liljegren, asking, what's the price going to be? Apparently, there will be enough demand that they will be able to trade him, and that makes sense.
Yeah, no, like, again, there are things about this player that, frankly, piss me off. He's an NHL player, and he should be playing, just not here. He didn't make this team,
He didn't make this team.
and I have no doubt that he'll make another one.
Yep.
It's one of those situations where it's frustrating to talk about. This isn't a terrible player. I don't understand why it's worked so terribly here, and seems to be getting worse. But I could easily see him being fine somewhere else.
You better pre-schedule that text.
I'm just gonna sit by my computer tomorrow.
Steve, we need a Liljegren video.
Here, wait.
Steve, break down this third-round pick for us. Is it more or less exciting than the 2026 second-round pick the Montreal Canadiens got in the Patrick Laine trade?
More.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought.
It's
We're
more
still throwing a
exciting.
party for that, by the way, Habs fans. I
The
don't
pick
think we
that
forgot
you don't
about
think exists.
it. Doesn't matter. It
I-
fucking doesn't
No, it
matter.
doesn't
It's
matter.
Patrick
That's
Laine.
I love the idea.
I can't wait for this guy to be fucking Gretzky, by the way. I can't
Oh
wait.
yeah.
I love the idea of going to a place in Montreal and having a live show and losing our fucking minds
Over that second
on
pick?
day 2 of the draft that no one gives a shit about.
Oh yeah, and that'll be at like 10 a.m. Everybody would be hungover, like, and it goes by like the second round is like bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, oh,
It's
yeah.
like they just roll. But
What
whoever it
happens
is,
if Montreal trades the pick?
oh shit,
We boo.
boo.
We boo the shit out of them.
They trade down and get 2 more picks.
No, wait. The best case scenario is they trade it and get like 3 picks, and then we got to lose our minds for all 3 of those.
right?
No, but which one? What becomes the like special pick?
The special pick is
It's still the
those
second
3
rounder.
picks, and now, so you know how players traded for each other, you pay attention to the other guy, and you're like, that guy sucks, like Boston with Phil Kessel.
Yep.
The second round pick, if the Habs trade the pick, becomes mortal enemy number 1.
Ooh.
100%. That kid sucks. I hope he stinks. I hope his team stinks.
But we were rooting for that person.
Yeah, but then he's not on the Habs anymore. Jesse, you're not in
so
the right
we're-
frame of
we're on
mind
the
here.
Side of the Habs here.
If we
No
go to
matter
Montreal,
who they-
yes.
okay.
Yeah, you got to learn to work the
No matter who they do with what they do with this pick. Okay.
100%. No, we're cheering for what the Habs get.
Yeah.
For this pick. Yes.
Because it's
Okay.
funny.
Deal.
Now, one last thing before we get to the press conference, / there is something Jesse I know wants to bring up. So I'm not sure if that's going to be in the press conference or not. But this one before all that is, have you pulled it up?
This?
Yeah.
This? Yeah.
The Avalanche are injured. This is a graphic that producer Drew put up. 6 of their top 9. Miles Wood will not play. It was announced today. So he becomes the 6th of their top 9 who are injured this year. And I'm thrilled that my guy Mikko Rantanen is still playing. And so is Cale Makar.
They are missing at least one player from every line except the 4th.
And Oliver Shillington's going to play forward today, right?
What?
Yes, I believe so.
That's what Friedman tweeted, right?
That's pretty cool.
Oh my holy Lord!
Yeah.
So
Now there's a team that could use a Timothy Liljegren.
I'm to play forward, I guess.
Yeah.
So Drouin out, McKinnon, Rantanen healthy, Lehkonen out, Middlestat healthy. He's actually been incredible. Nichushkin out, Landeskog out, Ross Colton out, Miles Wood out. Their entire third line: Nikolai Kovalenko, Parker Kelly, Logan O'Connor, all in the mix. Dude, they don't have anybody. Don't put a player on waivers. They're gone. They're gone.
Elliot Friedman tweeted earlier, Jared Bednar on Altitude Radio said today that Miles Wood is added to the injury list and won't play versus Tampa Bay. Capo Kakinen gets his first start and Oliver Shillington will play forward. So there you go.
Jeez.
So this lineup we're looking at will include Shillington on forward.
That's sick.
And they're
I hope he's up there in Drouin's spot on the top line.
Imagine.
that'd be sick.
Shillington, McKinnon, Rantanen. Do it.
It
This
could
is
be
becoming must watch.
Yeah,
could be a
you gotta watch this game.
huge thing for like Nikolai Kovalenko, the rookie. I really like Logan O'Connor's feet. I don't like much else about his game. Parker Kelly can be a prick. I remember from his days in Ottawa. Oh boy, the Habs are really Habs. Why do I keep doing that?
Habs.
They're kind of between a rock and a hard place here because let's say a player gets put on waivers, which few and far between these days as we approach November. The bottom feeders of the league are going to be grabbing them.
Because your waiver order.
It's going to reset soon.
Isn't it monthly?
I just don't remember when. I want to say it's like 30 days into the season.
Right.
So like the Avs, if they want to like get immediate help, are going to have to make a trade. And I don't really know if they have the assets to do that.
Yeah.
Dude, it's tough. It's tough. Do you just
like if I was thinking like if there were more defensive guys that were out, like defensemen, like a guy like Giordano, I'd give him a call and be like, "Hey man, you want to come sign for a league, man?"
What?
But like they
how do you feel about forechecking?
Yeah, they need forwards. They need forwards. So I don't know.
I mean, Shillington as a forward, I'm fascinated to see how that goes. It's funny. We were just talking about that last show with, or were we? Mm-hmm. With Brent Burns.
We were talking about that
because I know we were talking about it in studio. I just don't remember if we were recording. He's going to be, I think, 10th all time in scoring by a defenseman ever. But the controversy is he wasn't a defenseman the whole time. He was a forward. Mm-hmm. And I've always wondered like why the switch doesn't happen more often. It's like nearly unheard of these days. Every now and then a guy will fill in for like a game or two, which I think is the plan with Shillington. But like, why couldn't a puck moving defenseman, like a quality puck moving defenseman who can skate, play wing?
I don't know.
You're telling me he's gonna be terrible at it? I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it too.
I just feel like more guys could possibly do it. I think you get any living, breathing human being and you grab them and put them on your roster.
Steve, to answer your question about waivers, if a player is placed on waivers prior to November 1st, the waiver order is determined by the reverse standings order from the previous season. If the player is placed on waivers after November 1st, then the claim order goes by the current season standing. So Nov 1 is the date you're looking for.
10 games, 5 goals, 11 assists, 16 points. Nathan McKinnon might deserve the Hart more this year than last.
I like that.
He's doing it on his own.
Yep.
It's by himself.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. They lost to the Juggernaut Blackhawks the other day, didn't they? So.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I shouldn't say by himself because Makar has more points than him.
There's a couple things
17 in 10 games.
I still have, but I'll save them for Friday because they really don't need to go on today. So, Jesse, do you want to go to the press conference? Or?
Let's do it.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
All right. First up, we have what might be a turn of events.
Oh.
We might have flipped the script on its head. Because tonight, Bax is playing in his 1,000th NHL game. And a 1,000th game means that we get a 1 and a K conveniently placed in the name.
Oh, okay.
But the Calgary Flames may have done it, and they may have made the 1 in the K cool.
No.
And put it in the correct spot. The Calgary Flames
There it is!
have simply made the 1 in the K into a K.
Well done, Calgary Flames. Well done. Damn, that's perfect.
Woo!
Absolutely perfect.
We get absolutely perfect T-shirts for Backlund.
I love that.
1,000th game.
That's great.
BAC1KS.
Yep.
Love that.
I'm shocked. I am genuinely shocked that we get a good one of these.
That's very good.
From the days of D1K, the dick shirts,
How did that get
to Ritu Pecht for Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
We now get something that looks sick.
Good for him.
Back 1KS.
Those would be sick shirts.
I want one.
Yeah.
I want one.
By the way, I just want to say I want a Wranglers jersey like so bad.
I haven't seen it.
They're so sick. They're like the Flames jerseys, but they're cooler. Like they're way cool. Like they're just. I think the Wranglers have one of the best jerseys in hockey. Just throwing that out there.
The Wranglers?
Huh?
The Wranglers?
The Wranglers. Yeah.
Second thing, we'll call this checking up on the listeners. So we get that one. Actually, I should shout out who sent that. Shout out Luke Pollock, who tagged us on Twitter. Next up with checking in with the Nicklers. Listeners, Nico. I was reading Nico's name and I said Nicklers.
All right.
Nico, who went to the Capitals game. And what did Nico get at the Capitals game but a can of Capital?
That's right.
There
I love
it is.
I love it.
Thank you for tagging us on Twitter. Nico, who said, had to get the Capit Ale.
Did he say how good it was?
No, there was no follow-up. Nico, let us know how good it was. This is the best beer can in the world.
It's so nice. I like it.
It is extremely.
It's also created by a company called Devil's Backbone. That's a great name for a beer company. Devil's Backbone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Devil's
Great
Backbone.
stuff. Thank you for sending the picture. You had great seats.
Yeah.
You can see Nico's like right at the ice.
Imagine how good those seats will be
5 rows
when they
up.
don't move to Virginia.
Yes. Yeah, they confirmed they're just doing like $1 billion renovations to the arena they have now in DC.
I think that makes sense.
Good for them.
I thought you were going to say, imagine how good those seats will be after approximately 4 Capitals.
The best.
I also thought you were going that direction. And I think Ted Leon's this. I got to check and see how much money he got from the city, but apparently he's happy, so they're doing the right.
I think wasn't it 600 or 500, 600 million? It was like more than 50%.
I don't know what they decided on, but either whatever it's at, I'm going to be annoyed because you have $1 billion. Stop taking taxpayer money. Go away. Ted Leon's this, you fucking cheapskate.
Whoa!
You got $1 billion.
He'd probably be like, yes, Jesse, and I am a cheap. How do you think I became a billionaire?
Yeah.
Hey, counterpoint. Jesse's right. Pay for your shit.
Maybe he is. I got to double check, but I'm pretty sure he's getting a big chunk of taxpayer money.
I don't care.
All right. Last thing on checking up with the Nicklers. We got to head back to Detroit, Porsche North, and their Instagram.
Yeah.
Because our comment we left from Friday currently has 1,685 likes.
Jesus.
And not only that, it has 131 replies. Let's go through and find some of the best ones. So right away, we have Tara, who said, Dan from Ann Arbor is my neighbor. Somebody replied and they say, hey, I know Ann Arbor too. When did she marry Dan?
When did she marry is a very boomer question.
A very good boomer, just completely misunderstanding everything.
I need someone to respond, okay.
So to my comment of, wow, that is electric, we had so many things. Let's read some of the best and shout you out. So we had the back and forth between us three And then we had a good electric emojis from Yoda. Boomers love the emojis on Instagram.
Dan stole my parking spot out front the pharmacy.
You Soci, who wrote Dan stole my parking spot out front the pharmacy, which is amazing. Blue said, R.I.P. Mike Pizza Caesar. You would have loved the new all-electric Macan.
That's amazing.
Jeremy said, that EV day drive got electrifying. They combined the EV with like electric vehicle and every day, which is great stuff. Dubs Watch City, which said, this comment is buzzing. Get it? Because electric. All the dad jokes. Elliot said, like, comment, and subscribe at the Yelly Man, who is a fan of the Leafs. There you go. Identified notes.
Yeah, it is repeating.
Yeah, it's repeating a little. Instagram, their desktop app is awful. So I was trying to scroll and see if we can get the unrepeating, but we got some more there. I'll go through some of the other comments.
Wow, I've been larking around for one of these.
That's Lurs with Attitude. Wow, I've been larking around for one of these. Does it have a push to start or a shift cane?
Aha!
Never mind a Hellcat. I'd want a Debrin cat. Is the interior of the Macan comfortable?
Oh, that's awful.
Wow.
If you speed in one of these, the cops with 2 P's might get you, though.
That's good.
Awesome.
That's good.
Great.
Well done.
Hey,
Great integration of Red Wings there.
that's
Fantastic
a haul
stuff.
of a comment.
Hey,
whoa.
from the press box. This one, Matt said, holy cow, I love my new Porsche from Detroit, Porsche North. I was shocked to the attention by this electric ad. Garrett Sparks, that is electric. Sparking Joy from Devin. I can't wait. Last one I'll read from Vicious Fairy. I can't wait to zap down the Michigan roads in one of these.
Now I do have an update.
And you do have an update.
So last night I got a notification that I was followed by Porsche Detroit North. And I reached out to them and I said, hey, friend. And it was seen 17 hours ago. And they
have not responded.
Have not responded.
Oh, man.
Did you give them more context?
No.
Well, they must.
Sorry, no.
They must have heard it now.
I don't think so.
Well, they should have.
I don't know.
We just boosted their Instagram. Come on now.
Hopefully.
Sorry.
I don't know
no.
if they gained any followers, but they gained a lot of comments on one post.
That helps the algorithm.
Well, they gained at least one because I followed them back.
I should follow them too.
So now I will get all the details on Porsche Detroit North.
I was checking to see, and it's a 4-hour drive. So, like, if we want to make a road trip, so I think it's 4.5 hours.
I would be so down.
Porsche Detroit. It's in the north part of Detroit, so it's not too far from the border.
Well, we have to make sure if they DM us back first, because I don't want to drive all the way to Detroit just to
I'm going
find
to
out
show
that
up, and then I'm going to be like, hey, I'm looking for a Porsche Macan, and then I'll take a picture with it.
I've been larking around for one.
They don't have to know who I am.
I think that was my favorite.
I like that. Okay.
That's it. That's
right.
it for us.
Well, hey, you guys are hilarious. Thank you for participating.
Thank you for
Coach
making
Detroit
that a
North
big
challenge.
thing.
That was great. NHL Car Watch continues. Let's wrap the show here. And let me just say that we will be back Friday, but don't forget, CJ show tomorrow. And
Shoeless Joe's.
Shoeless Joe's on November 12th and streams this weekend. Weekend and next week, I guess, streams. Steve is doing the Saturday night game, and I will be doing the Monday night game.
You did a great job at that.
I was doing my best.
You got
Easter
there.
Seals!
Yeah.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.